Hi, welcome to the American Franchise Blog. My name is Aisha Bascaro, and today we will talk about how no job is beneath you. Let's get started. In December of 1987, a long time ago, I closed my first business. Yes, I closed my first business. I failed. You know how they say about failing fast? I failed fast. After barely a year of having my business, I closed it. And it was probably one of the hardest things, not the hardest thing, but it was one of the hardest things that I had to do in my career. And of course, like any entrepreneur and business owner, you start a business with hopes and dreams and expectations of what great things you're going to do. And many times it works out and sometimes it just doesn't, right? And so you have to make those hard decisions when that happens and hopefully not make it worse for yourself if it's something that is just not going to work. I was barely 22 years old, and a year before that, I had graduated with a degree of merchandising and design. I thought I knew everything. I thought I was ready to tackle business ownership and make my greatest dreams come true, and boy, was I wrong. I didn't know anything about inventory. I didn't know anything about overhead. I didn't know how to calculate my break even. Forget it. And at the end of the day, the truth is that sales just did not cover expenses. They just didn't. And after a few months of trying and working hard, and all I would do to compensate was just work harder and longer hours and have nobody working there for me, just me, making it happen. At the end of the day, it just was not enough. So with all the heartbreak in my heart, of course, I decided to close the business before I got too much into debt. I didn't owe very much at that point, but I knew that if I stayed open, I was going to end up owing a lot of money. So I decided to close the business. Here's my 22-year-old self, went to go talk to this big landlord. I was in a shopping center, so it was a big organization that was managing it, and told them my case and said, look, I don't have any money and I can't, continue with the lease. And so I said, you can sue me, but there's nothing I can do for you. So just wanted to let you know, gave them the keys, gave them the things, and left. And they actually never pursued it. I think they felt sorry for me, for this 22-year-old girl trying to make a go of business, right? So that was it. So there I am, broke, with no money and no job, to say. So I decided I'm young enough, rather than get into anything really serious, let me find a job that I can have fun with and enjoy and pay my bills, right? Basically, that's all I wanted. I wanted to be able to make enough money to pay my bills and have a little fun on the weekends. And that moment, what happened, I was standing there and a pizza delivery driver drives in front of me with their car top sign on, and I thought, you know what, that must be a great job. You're driving around all the time delivering pizzas. How hard could that be? Everybody's always happy to see you because everybody likes pizza, right? So I thought, you know what, that would be a great job for me. And that's when I decided to apply for a job with Domino's Pizza in December of 1987. All right. And I did that. I decided to do that. And I went to the nearest Domino's, which happened to be very close to where my office was, my old boutique was. It was just a few blocks away. And I went over there and I applied for a job as a pizza delivery driver. And I got the job. And it was great. I loved it. And, because it was in the area where my business was, I actually end up making deliveries to the businesses that were my neighbors, where I have my own business. And I will come to their stores, right, and deliver the pizza, and they will look at me like, oh my gosh, Aisha, what happened to you? You used to own the business over there, and now you are delivering pizzas. And I remember the look in their eyes and how they felt sorry for me, and I think they almost felt embarrassed for me. The fact that you go from being a business owner to being a pizza delivery driver. And the reality is that, not only, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? You have to pay your bills. You have to take responsibility for your life. But not only that, what they did not know is how much I love doing it, right? And, I learned a lot of lessons when I was doing that, and these are lessons that I took with me for my entire career. And lessons about how no job is beneath you, about how what matters is that you do the best job out of whatever you do, because your job does not define who you are. Your character, your choices, the quality of the work that you do every day, that defines who you are, right? And so I never felt embarrassed from going from a business owner to a delivery driver person, right? I mean, once in a while I was wondering, what was I doing? I did that for a year and a half, all right? And but I loved it, and I learned that that it is a matter of you loving what you do and being really good at it. And because of that, the way of looking at things. Now, I don't know where I was a 22-year-old. That's just what I thought, right? But I will tell you that is something that I carried through my entire career ever since. And I would say that that's part of the secret of my success. The fact that I carry myself with confidence regardless of what I did. And I brought that to every job that I did throughout my career. I remember after being with Domino's for a couple of years, 2-3 years, I applied for a job in International. And my first job was to go to Spain as the store opening team for the first store in Seville, Spain. And I opened the store. I was there with the team. After a little while, part of the team left, and I was left in charge of that business. But even though I was in charge of that organization, I worked shoulder to shoulder with the people in that location, right? We worked hard, and we did a great job. We were able to introduce the brand at the World Expo in Seville with pride and great quality and results. And every day I worked with the team, and every day we just make sure that everything was great. And even though I was the corporate person from Domino's International, I was working there with all the Spaniards, most of them kids, to run the business. I'm just part of the team with different responsibilities. That's all it is. We're all equal, except that we all have different responsibilities. So, and I think that that's one of the reasons why that was very successful. I remember that as part of my international job, it wouldn't be rare for me to in the morning be working with the team members, producing dough, making pizzas, right? And seeing how we can make things better. This particular occasion for the master franchisee in Nicaragua. So as I'm in the morning making pizzas and dough with the people at the store, in the evening, I'm having dinner with the president of the country. Why? Because the master franchisee was a cousin with the president of the country. So that was my life. And for me, I enjoy just as much spending time with the employees at the store making dough as I did having dinner with the president of countries, right? Because it doesn't matter, because what you do does not define you. It's the quality in which you do your work and how much you respect and enjoy the people around you. That is what matters, right? And so there's many things that I can tell you. One of the things that served me very well is the last one of the last things that I did when I was actually running a brand. It was a 400 plus unit brand, and one of the things that I wanted to do is see if the training materials for the store opening were good enough. And I mean, I could ask the training department, or I could ask the operations team, but instead I decided to go and see it for myself, right? Because since that's a lot of my experience in the different brands, I figured, you know what, just because I'm the head of the brand, it doesn't mean that I cannot go with my own eyes and see if these materials work. So literally I went with my business consultant to this city, to the next opening that I selected, and I spent 3 days there with the team every day, looking the whole day about how they were training, whether the job-based materials were working, whether the things were going the way they were, whether they're ready for it, the equipment was set up properly, literally 3 days. And one of the things that happened was that the franchisee that saw me there, and I was surprised that I was there for 3 days, every night he and I will go for dinner, and he would ask me all these questions. And then from him asking me all these questions, he learned a lot, and I learned a lot about him and about franchisees' needs. And then the next day we do the same thing, and the next day we do the same thing. So when I decided to leave the corporate world and do my own thing, and I didn't think about being a consultant, but he was one of the people that actually called me to ask me for help, and I became a consultant and eventually a business coach, which eventually became in the opening of the American Franchise Academy, which 3.5 years later, now we are a well-established and successful academy for franchise business and independent business owners. So who would have known that if I hadn't felt like I was not too proud to go and and make pretzels and look at the job as myself, I would not have where I have, or I wouldn't be where I am today. And so no job, no work is beneath you. I would say that if number one, you are too proud to do things that might be seen as not as important, like sweeping and mopping and cleaning counters or even bathrooms, then if you're not, as a business owner, if you are too proud to do things like that, then you immediately are putting a wall between you and your people, right? That wall that says that's you, them versus us. And the moment that you have that them versus us, is a moment in which you are no longer able to earn their hearts and their minds and accomplish the things that they could do. Not only that, when you hire employees and you're going to pay them X amount of money, they're going to do the work that X amount of money, deserves. But that very important discretional additional effort that the employees give you because they care about you, because they're loyal to you, because they admire you, and because they actually see you as an equal, that discretionary effort you will not get if you are too proud to do the work that they do. And I'm not saying that you should go over there and do it every day at all, because we all have different jobs and different responsibilities. But once in a while, you walking into a location, one of your businesses, right? And you seeing that something needs to be done and helping them with picking up boxes or sweeping when it's a little bit of dirty, or maybe helping somebody with paperwork, just because you happen to be there will make a huge difference on how they see you. Number two, something else that's really important for you to do, and not be too proudful in what you do, is, that to take the example. Sometimes you might go into your businesses and see that things are not done the right way, and if you don't know how to do them and you're unwilling on wanting to do it, then how can you set the example, right? But if in the other side, you do it, you know how to do it, and it needs to be done, or you see somebody struggling and you take the time to teach them, not only are you being a great role model and an example, but you might inspire them to do a better job. And how important is that? That you as the owner, as a business owner, can actually do that for your people only because you are there to do things with them and for them when you visit them, right? And so that's so important. And the third thing that I want to share with you is that it's your business. At the end of the day, especially in the last 6, 7, 9, 7 months of this world history with COVID, so many business owners had to let go of many employees, and many of them were left running their own business. And if you don't know how to do it, how are you going to make sure that you get your business going forward, that you save your business and you make it happen to overcome this challenge? Because this challenge is going to be over. But for you to be able to overcome it, you need to know every single aspect of your business, every single job, not only what it is, but how to do it so that you can make it happen and make it over, this hump, right? And so it is so important, because if not you, then who, right? So anyways, that is the message for today that I wanted to share with you, right? No job is beneath you. And the amount of things that you can earn or win in exchange for knowing that and being willing to do the things that other employees are supposed to do will give you so much back in return, not only in care, loyalty, but I'm going to tell you, business results, big time. So I'm hoping that this little message made you think about it. Maybe you can do a little action different from now on. Maybe the next time you visit your locations and your businesses, you might look at the way of the work that you do, when you're there, a little bit different, and helps you earn that love and care and loyalty of your employees just a little more. I hope you enjoyed today's topic and you got some value out of it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and that way you can see more videos like this. All right, so remember, create systems, increase profits, and scale with confidence. All right, see you next time.